Hello, Karen.
Hello, Lenny. Hello.
We're pre-recording this for audience on a Thursday. Karen has a conflict on Friday. So that just know that. Sorry, we're not live.
Know that. Sorry, we are not live. I'm actually going to see my my college students this weekend, so taking a Friday to spend with those little ones in my life who are not so little, really. But yeah, so a nice family weekend for me ahead.
Very cool. Very cool. The Karen and I talked about this. We just want to just kind of put it out there. We know that there's a conversation to be had about polling and the potential impact on market research. This is not the week to do that. We will address it at some point. So just know if anybody's expecting us to get in there because it's just in the zeitgeist, hot topic, whatever, fine. But we're going to push back a little bit before we do that. So we're going to talk about other stuff. We're not going to talk about that. Give us all time to kind of unpack and all of that down the road. So Karen, good?
Well said. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Well, let's get into it because we got some stuff.
Let's get into the other things.
So, all right.
So Lenny, you had found this article from a Caroline Thompson, and it was 3 things I learned as an MRS mentor. And I just thought that was very timely that you shared that because, and Carly will share that link as well. But the overlap with a piece like that coming out at the same time that I know that Wire sent out their applications for potential mentees to join the Wire mentorship program. Mm-hmm. So those 2 things I think are hand in hand, and Carly will share the link for that. But for kind of young women in particular in the industry, but really anybody kind of new to the industry can participate. They are not gender specific. If a young man really wants some mentorship, he can certainly have some. I think the majority of the mentors are members of Wire. And I myself have been one for several years, different mentee each time. And you can also talk to Wire if you want to become a mentor in the 2025 year. But this is the time to lay the groundwork for all of that and give back in one way if you are kind of at that place in your career, or kind of sign up for a little bit of assistance if you are in that part of your career. So anyway, timely article, timely thought piece.
It is. And I've learned a little bit of mentorship through through my association with the 2 university programs, UGA and Michigan State. But the times I've done that, it was incredibly rewarding. So I encourage you, folks, think about it. And there's another example, right? I mean, there are opportunities. There's Wire. There's the educational programs. Most of the trade associations, I think, have some type of mentor program. So get involved.
Well, yeah, I mean, even Content Marketing Institute, they had a mentorship program that I participated in when I was new to content marketing, coming out of research practitioner, coming into Green Book. And I was like, you know what? I'm new to content marketing in this way, for a company like a media company. And I was like, I can be a mentee. So that was really interesting because I was paired with somebody who had been in that industry for a long time, kind of focused there. But I was, at the age that I'm at, and it was actually really helpful for both of us. So I don't think you're ever too old to ask for a mentor either.
Absolutely.
In my opinion.
I much to their chagrin, probably, but I claim Simon Chadwick and even Ray Poynter as mentors for me. I think that they would not claim that back, but that was my perspective. And there are still people, Larry Friedman, who is on our board. I go to get Larry not as often as I should, probably.
Well, I'll shout out to Susan Griffin, who I probably go to
Susan,
more often than I should.
Absolutely, Susan Griffin. Yeah, I mean, pass it on, folks. Pass it
on. Yes, pay it forward to anybody that you can, and recognize that you may not even know you're a mentor, right? But your conversations are inspiring and uplifting, and people like Lenny and myself are grateful. And anyway, so get involved in that way. It's very rewarding and very helpful.
Good stuff. All right, do we want to get into the
industry stuff? So there's a lot. There's always a lot, right? I guess we say that every week, that there's a lot going on, but I don't know much about you. You have, are very tuned in. I talk about this week after week to kind of, media research, and advertising and how that plays out. But I don't know why this first article is as critical, but the Media Rating Council approved Nielsen's integration of first-party live streaming data into its national television measurement. So talk to me about that. I don't mind. This is one instance where I'm like, explain, because I don't really track this one.
It's the shift from asking questions to behavioral data. So in this case, Nielsen, they are the standard. Media Ratings Council sets the standards for all advertisers on, trying to understand audiences. Nielsen, of course, major dominant player in that space. And for a while has been trying to integrate different data streams because the media ecosystem is so fragmented, how we consume across multiple devices. Many of those devices now measure themselves. In this case, I believe the focus is on smart TVs. Roku be an example, right? I don't know if they're specifically in this, but that type of thing. And integrating that data rather than a panel per se, where somebody is reporting their media consumption, that they are passively measuring that across multiple devices. So I think this is interesting because we continue to be in this world of kind of omni-channel data, and it's not always about asking a question. And increasingly, it's more efficient and potentially even more accurate in many ways to measure behavior. And this is one very prime example of that. So that's what caught my eye. We'll see more of this type of stuff emerge, not just in media. It's a no-brainer in media, but it also makes sense in product usage.
Cool.
Another example, things like that.
Yeah. Cool.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, and then I'm going to just do the same thing, like go right into the next one, because this is another one where I'm like, yep, nope, I'm not tracking this one either.
Well, this was a little outside of my
I don't know what the reason is, but this week I'm like, I got nothing here. So.
That's all right. Yeah, this one, Inside Association endorses T-SAPI, T-SAPI, if I'm not pronouncing it correctly. It's an open source API standard for exchanging survey data between different platforms. This gets into things like ISO, and there's probably implications as well for GDPR and all of those things. It's just the association saying we think this is a good standard for an API structure, which is how different systems exchange information, to make sure that it's secure, standard, should help with interoperability. If everybody adopts this type of thing, then it's not. If you're a buyer and you are utilizing some in-house solution for data integration, right now you may be working with 5 different suppliers and they'll have 5 different standards, and it's just a big pain in the ass to get all that information in. By going this route, hopefully everybody adopts this, and it just streamlines the process. It just makes it easier for interconnectivity between multiple platforms.
Cool.
Yep.
Good explanation. Thank you. The next ones are a lot easier.
All right.
Partnerships.
Yeah. Well, do you want to go with the
user interview? It's funny because Outset AI. Well, anyway, it's these are ones that make perfect sense based on the conversation that we've had lately. So user interviews partnering with Outset AI, which is an AI moderated research platform. What's interesting, Outset was we recorded a podcast. I was the host of that one with their client Away, the luggage company.
Mm-hmm.
So we just had this conversation with them where they shared this real use case of their platform. So if anybody's interested in that, we can also share the link to the podcast episode with Outset and Away. So the partnership with user interviews, that makes sense to me. Let's get some AI integrations, because if you're not up to snuff with your own platform, partner, right?
Yep. Well, and so this is an AI first, more of a qualitative at scale platform, right? I mean, my God, you can't, you can't walk 2 feet without bumping into one of these companies now. There's just so many that have emerged because it's such a kind of no-brainer use case.
Yeah.
It may not be great from what we're used to,
right?
But for a user interview, I think it's perfect. That's a perfect use case. So for UX, why not?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It makes perfect sense. So anyway, so super cool. And then another partnership. So Realize ad testing platform or tool, Realize has partnered with a content generation platform called Grip, which I don't know anything about Grip. When I saw this, I was like, oh, that's interesting. So attention optimized ads for CPG brands. So do you know Grip? Have you heard of them? Because I know we know Realize.
I think Grip is just one of the many marketing platforms out there.
Yeah, yeah,
AI generated, create not only but optimized for visual intensity, those type of things. Realize they have a massive database. They've launched a while back a AI solution that is effectively visual intensity to test an image without needing to test it with people. Now, no brainer to connect those type of solutions into marketing platforms. So creatives, but while you're in the creative process, you're optimizing that there. Also, no brainer to then take the finished creative and then test it and test that on those key factors that Realize focuses on, which is going to be emotional intensity and visual intensity specifically.
Yeah, yeah, cool stuff.
Yep.
So a couple new kind of launched product features, but also just we want to shout out Cint and wish them luck with they have a brand, not only kind of a new research platform that they're launching, the Cint Exchange, which sounds very interesting, doesn't it, Lenny?
At least they didn't call it the Innovation Exchange.
Yeah, exactly. But they're also refreshing their brand identity. And I think when that's happened before, where we find out that one of the partners in the ecosystem is changing things up a little bit, we're like, best of luck, because kind of changing that whatever you want to call it, a brand renovation or a brand relaunch or whatever you're doing. Good luck. We know there's a reason behind it, and we hope it all proves fruitful for you.
Yep, absolutely. So look for new logos.
And
they also do their new research platform. The Cint Exchange. So there's the two in one. So
yeah.
All right. The Meltwater. Want to talk about Meltwater for a minute?
Yeah, I don't know Meltwater. So there's another one where I was like, I don't know Meltwater. I mean, there was a lot that I was like, I don't really know about this company. So what do you know about Meltwater? And they have some new AI features out. What do you know?
Their social media analytics platform, been around for a while. I think, who did they get bought by? Some company that does they do press releases. And I'm sorry, the name escapes mine right at the minute. Anyway, the integrating AI around their consumer intelligence to extract more information from social media feeds. Again, another no-brainer application of AI technologies to enhance the type of information and certainly the speed and analytical capabilities around a variety of social media data sources.
Yeah. Cool.
Yep.
Cool. Good for them.
Yep.
And then, Fathom released something called Stat Assist. I like these names, by the way, just for the record. Like, I like a good named feature, but to help identify statistically significant differences in open-ended survey responses. So that I think is really interesting because it is going to determine it is going to make some decisions there about, anyway, the survey response. It's just an interesting way of phrasing it. So what do you think about this one?
I actually am more interested in your perspective as a qualitative researcher. How would you have used this? Right, it says open-ended survey responses, but I'm sure it works just as well within kind of macro qual, those type of things. First, coding's a pain in the ass. So if it replaces coding and allows you to get that,
for sure,
great.
But I think there's what I'm curious about. This is the label of kind of statistically significant differences, because when it comes to open, as a qualitative researcher, what you're looking for is often the thing that's an outlier, because there might be some real insight to that. If you're looking at qualitative data and somebody says something that doesn't track with what anybody else says, like as a moderator, you want to probe that. You want to understand that, because that might be a real good nugget and have like kind of introduced a new line of questioning you should go after. So I'm curious about this platform and would wonder, how does it define? And again, you know, doing a little more research would help us rather than just this summary here. But how does it know, you know, what are the outliers that are statistically significant, right? What is it saying there? Like this, anyway, and that's just probably a dynamic of qualit scale in general, like, you know, but anyway, yeah, to me, it's a learn more to see how it's determining that there's something that is significant.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you can kind of imagine how you would do that if you've coded, you know, and identified words and themes, et cetera, and put that in there. I could see how you could get there.
Yeah.
But determining, so what? It's just statistically significant that 90% of the people said red and 10% said blue, right? Is it just that simple, or is there more depth to it? Regardless,
couldn't they use some other colors this week, huh, Lenny? Couldn't have said
sorry, that was not even in my mind. As a redhead wearing a blue shirt, I mean, but anyway.
Purple and green, friend, purple and green.
Oh, Joker colors, right? Okay.
Yeah,
that was good, Karen.
It's all good. It's all good.
All right. Anyway, status is really cool that we're seeing AI come into kind of the foundational aspects of research for analytical capabilities. So, okay.
Yeah. You guys, everybody just saw that elephant we mentioned. It just ran across the screen a little bit. Remember, I'm still here. Anyway.
Yep. All right.
Moving on.
This was did you get a chance to read this?
I didn't, but I want to. I just haven't gotten there yet. I don't know this guy.
He's a VC. Joe Lonsdale wrote a really neat piece on transforming B2B service industries and the AI services wave, lessons from Palantir in the new age of AI. Now, for those who may not be familiar, Palantir's AI before AI was cool, right? Been around for a long time. Their biggest customer is the government. They came to the fore in kind of the big data wave, incorporating multiple data sources to locate bad guys, right? That's how they were used, like identify terrorists. That was their first big thing. Anyway, big company, multi-billion-dollar valuations, one of the most valuable companies in the world. And the application here is thinking about because you think of a big tech company that everybody, well, they must just be pure SaaS. No, they're still very service oriented and incorporating service in the world of AI, specifically when we think of AI as a threat to service, potentially to some elements of a service organization of human functions. And this is really talking about the optimization of technology, service, and AI across the board to make it a better experience. It's very insightful, very interesting article. If you're a tech company out there that struggles with the service piece, I think this would be really useful. If you're a service company struggling with the tech piece, I think this is really useful. So good perspective.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool. And again, take from it what you will, right? For where you are on this journey, right? But we've all said you need to be on the journey, a million times. So pretty cool. No, I will dig into that one. So thank you. Speaking of AI
and being on the journey, right?
And being on the journey. Yeah. Well, here we are back to user interviews again. So we mentioned them earlier because they're partnering with Outset AI. But it's interesting that they've also released this AI and UX research report for 2024. So free report to download and check out what their pulse is on AI in UX specifically. Mm-hmm. And hats off to them for sharing it out. I know a lot of the kind of partners in the industry do put out these reports that they're like, our research has shown this, and I will share it out with all of you. So, it's always worth checking it out and seeing, what they're finding out, because that shared intelligence helps us all become intelligent.
Yes. And I would say specifically what I did was looked at this in the context of the Qualtrics report, and grit, of course.
Yeah, of course.
And looking for the commonality, and there's a buttload, which is great validation, right?
Yeah.
We're not all drinking the same Kool-Aid, right? There's more than likely we're reporting this stuff accurately, but also the differences. And particularly this, I thought, when you combine those 3 reports to see the shifts that are happening in kind of this adjacent category of UX, this adjacent category of CX, the broad category of market research, that we encapsulate some of that. Those 2, just really interesting that how they're doing that. And I think the user interview specifically, because it has applications for qual. Yeah. So really interesting stuff, I thought.
Yeah, good. And then also, speaking of Ray Poynter, right? Like we mentioned, there's a lot of things coming full circle here, but New MR announced they have a webinar coming up, the State of Insights 2024, right? So, that one, I don't know what the exact date is. We have the registration link, I think, that we'll be sharing. What do you know, anything more about this? Is this something that he's done every year? I don't have to recall right now.
Yeah, I mean, so Ray used to be part of the team on Grit. For many years, and then we just kind of streamlined processes, and he saw some gaps of things that we weren't necessarily capturing within Grit, because Grit's just this big, massive beast. So he launched his own study. That's been really good. It's much smaller, more focused, and Ray does this every year. It's a great effort. It's very complementary to Grit, and he recently did that. Focuses on AI, because Ray's focusing on AI a lot right now, and doing a webinar where he'll talk about the results. So, do
you know off the top of your head, because I haven't clicked on the link, what the dates are of that one and how?
I don't off the top of my head.
I'm gonna look it up real quick. New MR State of Insights. Let's see if it comes up that quickly, right? The State of Insights. Oh, nope, that was not recent. Nope, I'm not going to be able to pull it up. The reason why I asked, just try again. It's got to be here, right, on his page. Can we click on the link? I don't know that I can click on the link for some reason.
Should be in our original exchange links.
But it should be. Yeah, it is right here. When is this? The reason why I'm asking, here it is, Tuesday, November 19th. Okay, so I think it's Tuesday, November 19th, 10 o'clock Eastern, so 3 p.m. London time.
Before the Grit Forum.
That's what I was getting at, right? So tell that's a little bit before the Grit Forum, and that's going to be a good 1-2 punch for people if they want to get a very holistic view, right?
It would be. So you go. I'm actually glad you said that. I will try and squeeze that in before we do the Grit Forum. If you're an attendee, and just connect dots, right? I mean, it should just say forever. We get a lot of complaints that Grit's so damn big. It is. Right? We try and capture a lot, and we just took that bullet. It's like, all right, we want to be comprehensive as we can be, and the only way to do that is 2 surveys a year. And we still leave a lot that we want to explore on the floor. So I am pleased that there are other folks that build off of that and augment it, and it's always useful. So the work that SMAR does, the GMR, SMAR report, I look forward to it. That's data we do not collect. If we did, the Grit would be an hour long, right? So I'm really glad, and we should support other efforts to do research on research from other folks. And here's an example of that.
Yeah, and just to be clear, while we do get some people saying that the Grit report is too long, we do get probably equal numbers, if not more, saying they like the comprehensive nature of it. So yes. like the comprehensive nature of Grit is fantastic. So it's more the survey I was thinking about than the report. Yeah, well,
the report's as long as it needs to be to deliver the information. Exactly. It's more the survey itself. So I'm
just putting together, again, sorry, a little delayed here, but if if the new MR webinar is at 10 a.m. Eastern, the Grit Forum is on the exact same day, also the 19th, but at 1 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you are like clear. This is the same day. You'll have the one followed by the other. And Lenny, if you can block your calendar for the new MR one, you're going to, have some new color to add to the Grit Forum. So that's pretty cool.
Yes. And Carly, you want to add the link to the Grit Forum. And by the way, if you ever want to see me pulling my hair out, then that's a great time to do that, because I am moderating. I'm conducting one session, then moderating 3 panels, all back to back to back to back. And those 3 panels all have different constituents and different topics. It is, I feel like I've run a marathon after every Grit Forum, but very cool way to condense, understand, and get key insights out of the forum that it is composed. So you'll know, our listeners, the commentaries writers within the Grit Report. So they, senior people and from all of those companies who come in, and they give their perspective on very specific aspects of the report. And I always find it really interesting and impactful, and most of our attendees do as well. So yeah. Cool. Can do both.
Cool. So yeah, thank you, Carly. We kind of threw that out at you, but because we're pre-recorded, she has some time to pull some other links up there. So that's all.
And should we now talk about our new cadence?
Our new cadence, for sure, is really the last thing we have to talk about. So holidays are coming sooner than we can possibly comprehend.
Yes.
Somebody just booked me for something on January 30th, and I'm like, hold up. Like, that is a long way out, but here we are. So we are officially in it, friends. So we're going to be switching to a biweekly cadence. We will not, okay, so tomorrow's the 8th. And then we will meet again live in 2 weeks. And then we will meet again live in 2 weeks, and so on and so forth. And follow a bi-weekly cadence for a couple weeks. See how that goes.
Yep. So we're still going to do our best to keep everything to 30 minutes, which, we're 30-ish minutes.
We're 30-ish. We're 30-ish. That's a very fair way to describe it.
Yep. Condense, we'll still be tracking everything. And we will we'll do our best, but I know we do have a few people who really look forward to this every Friday at noon, but with holidays, et cetera, it just doesn't make sense because it would be just erratic. So we're just making the call. And we'll get through the holidays, and then we will go from there. So we will see you all in 2 weeks. Have a great weekend, folks. I'm sure you will not be having as much fun as me, as I will be down in College Town, but but I'm sure the rest of you can figure out something fun and lighthearted to do this weekend. Enjoy. Now, you're not going to go to any frat parties or anything. Well, never say never. No, these kids are not in that scene. So they have a very different college experience than I had when I was there back in the day. But I'm not above a college bar. I think there's almost nothing more fun than sporting games on the television and kids making bad decisions all around me while I just laugh and watch. So all good. There's probably a good lesson for life in general to take from that. Just watch the bad decisions. Watch the bad decisions. Okay. There's that elephant again. On that note, everybody, take care. We'll talk to you in 2 weeks. All right. Bye, everybody.